Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper wow, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. Sorry about this, I don't mean to be distracted while I'm on my video, my delicious baby. So what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So the time is nearly 1:45 in our old afternoon, my delicious little babies now on the 4th of March 2026. So the sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray. Yes, so the sun is shining. So it's a beautiful day. And I hope that wherever you are in the world, my little beautifuls, that life is treating yourself most deliciously, okay? Now then, so what is it that I want to talk about first of all? So I took some shorty videos yesterday, my delicious little babies. And, well, I mean, there was a very old-fashioned look like fridge, a really old-fashioned fridge, okay, which happened to be on the main road, the main drag, my delicious babies, and it was on the pavement, okay, right outside where the nursing home is, my delicious babies. So I'm not sure who put that there, but as far as I'm concerned, it was, there we are, quite obvious, there we are, to myself, my delicious little babies, you see what I mean? Then further on down, there's like this tall metal, like these little trolley things. And it had everything in it, carpets, pieces of bricks, bricks. Okay, my delicious little babies, and of course, the nursing home is made of, well, plenty of bricks, isn't it, my delicious little babies? There's so many squares, it's just unreal. Square windows, square buildings, everything square, my delicious little babies, anyway. So, anyway, so I'd taken that little video, my delicious little babies, and then I'm walking around, and what should be there again, my delicious little babies? Well, yes, another ambulance, okay? You usually have yellow ones with green, and you have green and white ones, okay, my delicious little babies? Well, I never took the footage of the dear elderly lady, bless her, who came out of the nursing home. Very sad, okay? The poor dear elderly lady didn't look very well at all, being pushed on the stretcher, bless her. Can only hope that she gets better. But what's the point that I'm making? And by the way, there's a reason, there we are, for every piece of music, sound that I put on each video. That doesn't mean no, just got an each. Okay, there we are. There's a reason. It's a case of taking ham in pieces, bits and pieces out of the songs, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? So by no means was I taking the complete Mickey out of a dear elderly lady who was being wheeled out on the stretcher. No, I wasn't. Okay. What do I mean by the song The Hustle? Which, of course, it's just music, my delicious little babies. But what's the point I'm making? Number one, the year is 1975. You also need to, there we are, look at the years of the songs that I was playing. Okay? So it's not just simple things about me just uploading something. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, there we are. There's always a method to what I do. Okay? So that was 1975. But and The Hustle, when you actually look at the video itself, you can find it on YouTube, my delicious little babies, okay? You only have to type in The Hustle. You'll find that they're dancing, so they're dancing, to the tune, okay? It's a good tune, actually, my delicious little babies, but what's the point I'm making? The turnaround, there we are, in that nursing home. And I'm not saying that about the dear elderly, because they're very sadly found themselves there, my delicious little babies. Okay. What's the point I'm making? You will get, I would say, a large, there we are, percentage of the dear elderly, bless them, and they're usually, let's just say, they're there just for the short time remaining of their lives, my delicious little babies. Okay. Now, of course, they also use hospices for that. Okay, so that must be the only way that I can look at this, my delicious little babies. It must be a bit of a mixture of birth. Okay, but let me tell you, the ching 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 that that nursing home charges per week, my delicious little babies. And please remember, you've got all of the dear residents there, okay? So that is some serious, there we are. Ching, ching, ching. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Do you see how this rocks and rolls? There we are. I've seen it long time, decades. Like I've said on my previous videos, from time to time, I was a carer on and off for over 20 years. Okay, my delicious little babies. I worked in the homes. Plus, I've gone out, to my dear clients' homes, and years ago they used to call them service users. Service users. So that's how you explain a fellow mankind that they are a service user. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I know, there we are, how this rocks and rolls. Okay, my delicious little babies. So that was the reason for everything what I did. Then I walked over the back of where I live, my delicious little babies, and I just happened to have my dog and burn on me because I went out yesterday. Then I came straight back to take my beautiful little Ruby Tuesday out, because my beautiful little Maisie Moo can walk herself, but sometimes she walks with us. And I've never ever seen this before, ever. But you've got a lamppost with a light, and then somebody had actually tied the wire to a gold lamp, okay, with frosted glass, my delicious little babies. And I was trying to go back to the year of that particular design, my delicious little babies, and that design, I feel it's got to have been between, I'm not going to say got to have been. I'm trying to work it out, because I know exactly, because I know somebody who bought all the sets, which was the lamp, which was the light fittings, that you put on the wall, and they had that particular design. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So I feel it could be anywhere around 1998 to, I don't know, could be possibly to, I don't know, 2001, something like this now, something around that. I definitely know that that's a very old design, my delicious little babies can. But I'd never ever seen that before. You know what I mean? With somebody actually tying one light to another light. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? You could say, it looks like gold and silver, doesn't it, my delicious little babies? You know what I mean? Or gold and grey or something like that now then, with a bit of black in it. You see what I mean? But I just thought that was rather interesting, shall we say, my delicious little babies. And since I've did the video to do with wood, yeah, I noticed, on some grasses, my delicious little babies, yeah, they're leaving a little bit of wood, aren't they? Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So I took yet another shorty video of that, my delicious little babies. And the thing was, I'd done a video, and I was talking about a lamppost, you know what I mean? My delicious little babies. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was talking about the wires. So, like I've said before, my delicious little babies, there we are, they're listening to everything. And this is getting even worse for myself, because even when somebody calls me, I'm talking about the normal way now, my delicious little babies. That little green light, like what it is now, you cannot see it, my delicious little babies, okay? But this little green light here, where I'm recording to you beautiful selves, my delicious little babies. Well, that appears to be on my normal calls as well. So I do not know how somebody has done this, because it's not like myself to leave my dog and bone anywhere or anything like this. So I'm not sure how they've done this. Mind you, you know, dog and bones can hear everything, and and of course they can track everything. But what I want to know is how somebody, there we are, has managed to do this to my dog and bone. There we are. That's what I want to know. Okay. So it seems that nothing that I say, put it this way, is let's just say my own private business. Anyway, I'm not doing anything anyway. I wouldn't mind if I am, but I'm not. Okay. So if there's ones out there who seem to think now that I am, well, rock and roll on, Tommy. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not. You see, but somebody certainly wants to, there we are, hear what I've got to say. Or let's just say some could be sending messages. Do you see what I mean? And it always comes up with the, is it Outlook, email. Yes, there we are. I've known for a long time about this. Wow. You know what I mean? So, to whom it may concern, there we are. I've known a long time about this. I was just wondering how long it was going to take whoever it is. Do you know what I mean? There we are. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. I'm not talking to you, my delicious little babies. So that was a reason for all of my, shorty videos. But I'll repeat once again, I most certainly was not taking the mickey at all about that dear elderly lady. Bless her beautiful, dear little soul. Not in that way, not in that way. That she was wheeled out on a stretcher, my delicious little babies. I'm not taking the mickey out of that at all. Okay, I would never do that. Okay, one day we've all got to get old. You know what I mean? I do not feel old. I'm 52. Do I feel 52? No, I don't. I certainly do not feel the age that I am. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? So what else is it, my delicious little babies? And nobody else should ever feel that way either, my delicious little babies, about themselves, okay? These and the little lackeys only want ones to feel old, my delicious little babies. So so you've got a lot to do with the latest as well, my delicious little babies. What is it, this Jim Carrey? I'm not going to stay on this subject very long, my delicious little babies. I cannot believe that we've got so many. Well, I can believe it. There we are. I can believe it actually, my delicious little babies. We've got so many. There we are. Super duper important situations. There we are, going on in our old England and in the world, my delicious little babies. Okay. That you've got that many flipping uploaders, my delicious little babies, flipping rambling on about Jim Carrey and how he looks different. Okay, again, my delicious little babies, there we are. This is a complete, there we are, distraction. Okay, and what I was sparing a thought for this morning, my delicious little babies, was, when we remember the COVID. Okay, my delicious little babies. And the amount of pilots, my delicious little babies, who, in order to keep their jobs, because we all remember that, don't we, my delicious little babies? Yes. Okay. So in order for them to keep their jobs, they had to take the jibby jab, my delicious little babies, and very sadly they did, because I was covering to do with the Lotta, to do with BitChute at the time, my delicious little babies case, so I was seeing all these different videos, and it was tragic. Absolutely tragic. Pilots that had taken this snake venom, my delicious little babies, okay, and they can no longer work. Their career completely gone, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? Because how can you fly a plane, okay? And was the one case, I'm just trying to remember that now, Was there one case? I feel that there was. You know, like where you've got two in the when you're flying a plane, Mardelish babies, and the one pilot, he passed away next to the other pilot. Mardelish babies, do you see what I mean? Okay, I do not even feel that that pilot was very old. Mardelish babies, do you see what I mean? Okay, so I was sparing a thought for that actually, but as I cannot see BitChute at the moment, well, otherwise, because they seem to want to bury, I'm not saying that to take the PE, the Mardelish babies, they seem to want to bury anything like this, Mardelish babies, but I'm just not managing to be able to see. Do you see what I mean? Okay, because BitChute, very sadly, is not in our country. No thanks to we know who. Okay, Mardelish babies. So, but I was sparing thoughts about that. So you got that going on, because I've been noticing for some planes that, you know, they are coming in mighty slow. You know what I mean? Mardelish babies, and very low as well. And you're talking about massive planes, colossal planes, Mardelish babies, okay? And sometimes I'm looking at these planes and I'm thinking, you know, they're not like how it used to be before the COVID. You know what I mean? Mardelish babies, okay? It's not like that at all. But you imagine how many pilots are flying the planes who have had, you know, this snake venom. Okay, Mardelish babies, you know, and well, let's just say, you know, I'm pretty sure maybe their health is probably not quite up to spec, because it seems that others in the world never wanted to hire anybody who'd had the older snake venom. Do you know what I mean? Mardelish babies. No. I wonder why that is, Mardelish babies. I remember talking about this. There we are, long time. I remember talking about this, whatever o'clock ago. So you got that situation, Mardelish babies. You've got this AI, but as I always say, AI can only be fed, there we are, if mankind, there we are, helps to feed it. On Goa, feed me now. Do you see what I mean, Mardelish babies, okay? So again, we get back to this again, don't we? So it can only gain more knowledge if one's feed it. Do you see what I mean, there we are, Mardelish babies. Now then, I want to tell you this. I was watching a video. I flipping cannot remember it now. And this was to do with, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about as well. This is to do with, you know, these robots on all fours. These, you know, that are meant to look like our little babies, but the robots. Okay, Mardelish babies. And I happened to be watching this short video. I think it was about over 8 minutes long. I must find it again, Mardelish babies, and tell you which one it is. Well, anyway, they brought these robot things, okay, Mardelish babies, out into the open. I can only assume in different countries. I'm not sure what countries there were. And some of our beautiful little babies, like little Rubes, they were really barking, you know, really going for these robots. Do you understand what I mean? They never liked them at all, okay? So there's a couple of instances like that. Now, there were others, and surprisingly enough, you know, lion cubs, okay? And you're talking, there's 2 lion cubs there. They're not like small, you know what I mean, Mardelish babies? And both of them, when they're seeing this robot thing, okay, Mardelish babies, they started to move back. Well, if you look in the wild, there we are, Mardelish babies, you see it is absolutely banging true. It's ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense. They rely on eye contact, eye-to-eye contact. Do you know what I mean? But they couldn't work it out at all. You know, what was happening and what this roboty thing was. Mardelish babies can. Now, I, myself personally, think that these roboty things are absolutely vile. They're vile, okay? but you usually see them in places like China, Russia. You see them in places like that, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay, they seem to love their old robots, as well as spying on everybody, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? But I feel to do that to our beautiful little babies and animals, okay, I feel that is a form, there we are, of abuse. You know what I mean? To put one of theirs out, and to see how they react, and then, they start moving back. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? And it's not just like our babies like little Rubes, or our baby little cubs and everything, okay? It was different animals. They never liked what they were seeing. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, this is what I'm saying. You see, you got some in the world now then. There we are, my delicious little babies. Before I even say it, my room's warm. You got some in the world, my delicious little babies, okay? They got too much ka-ching, ching, ching, rather than damn well, there we are, common sense, my delicious little babies. Because let me tell you, I would not be happy if I had to walk around a city or wherever it is and walk around the city, my delicious little babies, and, being approached by a robot of any description, my delicious little babies. It's just not my kind of thing now. But of course, you got others in the world, okay, not for everybody, but you got others in the world who are well into this. Again, what is this called, my delicious little babies? There we are. It's called feeding. There we are. So you feed this, okay? And this is why these seem to, let's just say, keep getting away, there we are, with what they're doing, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Because you have got some out there, where they'd be super duper happy. Oh, super duper happy, to have a robot in the home. Oh, yes, a robot in the home, all right, to cook, clean, iron and wash, yeah. I watched another video, my delicious little babies, okay? What was it, Candid Camera or something, a modern version, yeah? So, you've got a robot who's holding 2 eggs, okay? And rather than, crack the egg to put into a frying pan, my delicious little babies, well, it never quite went that way, did it, my delicious little babies? Because this damn robot now then, flipping dropped the 2 eggs on the floor, my delicious little babies, yes. So when one's out there, because, some mothers do have them, my delicious little babies, when, when some out there, really think that this is a super duper wonderful idea, it most certainly is not, my delicious little babies. You see one of these damn things now, I'd run in the flipping opposite direction, just a figure of speech, my delicious little babies. It's not for myself. You know what I mean? So you've got all these different things going on. There's something else as well. What was that to do with another video? See, I never wrote these down. I haven't wrote anything down, my delicious little babies. I've seen this the other day as well. So, because of this Iranian war, my delicious little babies, well, there's other things going on, isn't there? Like to do with Medicare and things like this now, then, my delicious little babies. There we are. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Then I heard idea, with anyone not in that way, idea, trending on Iconic on YouTube, my delicious little babies. What they up to now? 14.3 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? But you can always go on iconic.com, our lovely, not in that way, our lovely davidite.com, and just click on the Iconic, and then you can see the videos, my delicious little babies. Well, and I was listening to Dear Jamie, bless him, and it was all to do with this poxy flipping medical flipping app. You see, so what is it that I'm saying, my delicious little babies? What I'm saying is that when all of that's going on, there we are, and of course, what I also find very interesting, I'll say that in a minute if I can flipping remember it, okay? Because I've got that much in me noddles, to say, and I do not always remember. Do you understand? It's not because of that, it's because my head's filled with so much, not in that way. It's just filled with so much, you know what I mean? So I try to remember everything I can. And sometimes I get off the camera and I say, oh, I flipping forgot to say that, you know what I mean? But, yeah, to do these apps, so that you don't... see anybody or anything like this now then. And dear Jamie, bless him, he pointed something, doom, dong, dong, common sense, yes, because if you're paying your national insurance, okay, madlichtig babies, well, the last thing you want is to pay that, not to speak to somebody face to face to their birth races. Can you see this madness, madlichtig babies? Do you see what I mean? So, at the end of the day, from what I can see, we've got an awful lot going on, madlichtig babies, when all that's going on. Okay? So, this situation, madlichtig babies, there we are, with other things that are going on, other things now. There we are. It's very serious. But of course, there has to be distractions. I was listening to our dear, not in that way, our dear Charlie Ward, the Charlie Ward show, never need to stumble there, with dear Demi, dear Charlie, bless him. And he'd already mentioned it. Was it yesterday? Was it on yesterday's video? But he's mentioned it again today, madlichtig babies anyway. And that's to do with a massive bank in China, madlichtig babies, what has it gone bankrupt? Okay. But of course, again, this is not being talked about. Do you see what I mean, madlichtig babies? That's what I'm saying. And that's what I want to get back to. Anyway, just let me finish on this app business first. So please and thank you, madlichtig babies. So what's the point? Everybody's just getting sick and tired of this now. I mean, we've talked about the data. We talked about everything. Do you see what I mean? Everybody's just sick and effing tired of this effing shit, man. I certainly am. There we are, madlichtig babies. I really, really am, Even though I find something to laugh about each and every day, I'm telling you, the whole lot, really, to tell you the truth, madlichtig babies, is really peeing me off. You know what I mean? Because, even though you've got some madlichtig babies where they are paying attention, even, anybody who's new to, learning to do research or listening to videos or something like this now, then even though you got your new ones, they're trying, bless them. Do you know what I mean? Okay? So we'll say that, not in that way, but they are trying, okay? You've got so many others where they just see these poxy apps. There we are, madlichtig babies, okay? As convenience. There is nothing effing convenient about this at all. I'm not shouting at you, madlichtig babies. There is nothing convenient about this at all. And it pees me off, man. Because you got that many flipping effing gullible, flipping Egypts who just do not want to pay attention. You know what I mean? I just want to say that about that fridge as well. It's not every day you walk down the road. That's the first time in all these years that I've lived here that I've seen a light tied to a lamppost. I've seen a fridge, a very old-fashioned fridge, and then that metal box bloody trolley thing. Okay, madlichtig, but it's the first time since I've been here in all these years that I've seen all of this madlichtig babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So let me just say, there's another thing that's going on as well, madlichtig babies, there we are, that I want to point out here. So it seems that there appears to be different views, okay, going on to do with this war now. Okay, madlichtig babies, nobody likes a war. I certainly do not. And anybody who I know, they certainly do not, okay? But it seems that it's almost as if ones are testing other ones, uploaders who are into this geopolitical what's going on, madlichtig babies. It's like ones are testing others. I've got to turn my lights on, madlichtig babies, Forgot. 3, 2, 1, magic, little lights. Oh, come on, not again. Thank you, little light. You're delicious and bright when you turn on. Oh, there we are. We're having a party. Okay, Madelish baby, sorry about that. A bit late in the day, isn't it, to turn the lights on? Never mind, Madelish babies, we're just going to keep shining those lights, shining those lights, shining those lights. Okay, that doesn't mean no. Yeah, so it's very interesting what's going on, Madelish babies, there we are, and how all of this is unfolding. Because, of course, you got some in a geopolitical side of things, Madelish babies, where, you know, to the best of their ability, there we are, there we are, telling the truth to the best of their ability, Madelish babies. But you got others, there we are, Madelish babies, okay, who I personally do not feel are quite telling the truth. Okay, I'm not going to say which ones. Ones that there we are need to take a little look themselves, Madelish babies, okay. But it's very interesting how ones are, there we are, questioning, there we are, others now. And really, it's very, there we are, clear to see. We don't like that word clear, do we? Hear it flipping everywhere, Madelish babies, but you know what I mean. So that's very interesting as well, Madelish babies. So you've got to see, there we are, what is, there we are, what is going on here, Madelish babies, okay? So, like I said, I just do not like to really involve myself. I like to keep as up to date as what I can. There we are, with what's going on, Madelish babies, okay? But it's just these numbers are very let's just say, there we are. It's because it's curding, my delicious little babies. There we are. Do you see what I mean? Okay. For myself, I just question everything. Put it that way, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But you could tell the ones who are, let's just say, not running. There we are, with the same story as other uploaders. Because usually, if you've got one uploader, then you got Peter the parrot, and then they parrot it out. Then another uploader, that's how it goes, Martin Lichtick babies, okay? So what is it that I'm saying about that particular thing now? What I'm saying is it starts out as a dump, there we are, and ends up as diarrhea, Martin Lichtick babies. Do you know what I mean? Because of course we know how the story changes. Okay. Changes. Okay. And really, that's all I'm going to say there. Now, very lastly, my delicious baby. So, what have I received today? Another NHS letter. This is to all residents now. So, they've gone from putting your name to all residents and my address, my delicious baby's car. So, what does this say? To all residents, okay, my delicious babies, an opportunity to take part in research and learn new information about your blood pressure and future risk of disease. Okay. Here we go again. You are invited to take part in our future health. Yeah. Was they sparing a thought for anybody's health in the COVID? Was they sparing any thought for anybody's health then, I wonder? Yes. For many decades, actually. You know, many decades. You know what I mean? Marslichtig babies. Okay, so went all really light then, didn't it? The UK's largest ever health research programme. Yeah, programme. If you take part, you will have the chance to find out more about your health. Now, so I've woke up, okay, let me just be done saying this. So I've woke up this morning, my delicious babies, okay? And I've had myself a cup of coffee, I've had my juicy little shower, you know, I'm so thankful, you know, that we have all of these things, okay? I can see, hear, walk, talk, taste, touch, sense and smell, okay? And I feel very blessed to be able to do that. okay? Because there are some in the world, bless their beautiful, dear little souls, not in that way, you know, who very sadly do not have all of the abilities that myself and many others have, okay? But I certainly never ever wake up in the morning and say to myself, okay, well, I've got to, check my, stumbling there, mads, little babies, rightfully so. I do not say to myself first thing in the morning, oh, well, I feel that I need to know what my blood pressure is, or I need to do a pinprick test to do my blood, or anything like this now, then, or I must go and see somebody. No, I do not. Because why do I need to do it when there's nothing damn well wrong with myself? So let's proceed, shall we? Right, okay, where was I up to? And your risk of developing some diseases in the future. Did you hear that very correctly, my little babies? Let's just repeat this part again. And your risk of developing some diseases in the future. Okay, my little babies, so let's continue. That doesn't mean, yes, I've got nothing across my shoulders. Today, too many people, listen to this, spend many years of their life in poor health. Oh? I wonder what puts these poor dear little souls of mankind and our beautiful little babies, there we are, in poor health. I wonder. I wonder why. Our future health aims to help prevent, detect, and treat diseases earlier. Diseases like dementia, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. I actually was listening to a video the other day, Mardelistic Babies, where somebody has completely, what video was that now? They've completely reversed, there we are, their diabetes. They've no longer got diabetes, Mardelistic Babies, okay? Just thought I'd mention that. Right. Our future health needs, listen to this, needs up to 5 million people. Up to 5 million Mardelistic babies. Everyone aged 18, yeah. Getting younger, isn't it, Mardelistic babies? And over, living in the UK is eligible to take part. Taking part includes answering some online questions about yourself. Now listen to this, please and thank you, Mardelistic babies. Providing a blood sample and having your blood pressure measured at a local clinic. In the future, our future health plans to offer you the chance to learn about your risk of developing some diseases such as diabetes and heart disease. This would be calculated using the information you provide and an analysis of the DNA, did you hear that, Mardelistic babies, in your blood sample. Okay, Mardelistic babies. Now, what do you get for this? For taking part, Mardelistic babies, you get a £10 voucher. So you receive a £10 voucher. What did that sound like, Mardelistic babies? Do you remember back in the old COVID? Because I do, Mardelistic babies, when, what was it, in places like Born in the USA, you know, America, Canada, and they were offering them, what was it, chips, fries, burgers. The younger generation, you know, I suppose at these colleges, so forth, they were offering them, I think that was in Canada, that one, they were offering them arse lollies. Oh yeah, you get an arse lolly, Mardelistic babies, you know what I mean? That's what it sounds, there we are, very much to myself. I would say that is a bribe. So they're bribing somebody to offer them a £10 voucher to give your rewind and start again. To give your DNA. Babies. So they must be sparing a thought now then and saying to their selves, oh, well, this is cheap as chips. You know what I mean? There we are, babies, yes. So that is how they see yourself and myself, babies, in our old England, babies. Our DNA is worth a £10 voucher. Okay. Right. Sign up using the QR code or website link above, and you will be eligible for a £10 voucher to recognise the time and effort of volunteering. See how they use the word volunteering? Well, if you're volunteering, you do not get paid anything, do you? Because you're doing it for free. There we are. You're doing it for free. So why are they offering us a £10 voucher? Do you see what I'm saying, Mardelistic babies? Okay, so that's in itself in this sentence. Okay, Mardelistic babies, you must always remember, I've been saying this whatever o'clock, long time on my videos. It's about, there we are, the wording. Do you see what I mean, Mardelistic babies? Okay. You can find out more information on the back of this letter. You can also share this invitation with other members of your household. Look at that. And of course, if you've got any questions, 0800, you know the drill. So whose photocopied signatures do we have? Yours sincerely, Rajheeb Ali, OBE, MD, FRCP in brackets UK, Chief Medical Officer, Our Future Health, NHS Consultant in Acute Medicine, Mardelistic babies. Now, who's this other photocopied signature? Professor Sir John Bell, ding, ling, 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 GBE, FRS Chairman, Our Future Health. Do you see how these little men and little women in little suits get given these titles, Mardelistic babies? Do you see what I mean? Like, they're oh so important. You know what I mean, Mardelistic babies, right? Well, that's what I've got to say about that letter. Now, at the same time, so what do we do with that? Anybody else? I beg you with the Lord of mercy, Mardelistic babies, please. If you know anybody, please do not take part in this shit. Because that's what it is, Mardelistic babies, okay? So let's move on. I feel sorry for the tree that provided the paper for that shit to be sent to myself through my door, Mardelistic babies, okay? I receive a text message, because I receive text messages from my doctor's surgery, Mardelistic babies, okay? So we're back to this again, because it's a circle. And what is it, Mardelistic babies? They're still rambling on, about this bowel movement cancer screening test. It's just like a little stick. You give a sample of your number 2 and, they can check to see, if you've got anything. Can you see what I mean, Mardelistic babies? They're really, really going out the way. There we are, to get more customers, aren't they, Mardelistic babies? Are they not happy with enough who are sick and poorly as it is? Are they not happy enough that they've got so many who are poorly and sick? Do you see what I mean, Mardelistic babies? But of course, you will have those out there, Mardelistic babies, and this is very sad to have to say. I'm going to repeat this a bloody damn well again. Who will religiously look at shit like this? Look at text messages. Well, I just went bing, deleted. Okay? And they get themselves into a flipping damn frenzy. You know what I mean? There we are. Mardelistic babies. Oh, I've got to go. I've got to book an appointment. No. What they should do, Mardelistic babies, there we are, is do the damn well visiting these putrid places. They'll have no customers, and hopefully, there we are, they'll go bloody, I was just about to swear then, Martlish babies, they'll go bloody well bankrupt, okay? And nobody will be coming to them, because more and more and more, there we are, we'll be going for natural medicine. And what is natural medicine? It is natural. So it is not pop a pill. It is different ways to keep oneself healthy, natural healing, natural therapies, natural, like what the native Indians do, where they take a part from a bark of a tree and things like this. Now they go foraging for the medicine. Okay, that is what type of medicine I'm referring to, my delicious babies, not these powdery substances, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So that's all I have to say today, my delicious little babies. I just wish, there we are, I so wish that ones would just start. I'm not talking about all my delicious babies, not talking about all, that they would just pay damn well attention. And when they're reading this shit, to make sure, there we are, that they read it damn well properly. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? See, NHS, you could call it no herp service, couldn't you, my delicious little babies? No herp service. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Because you got two herps, didn't you? Bob herp and no effing herp. There we are. Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter which way you look at it. Decades ago, they were hijacked. Just the same as everything else gets flipping hijacked. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Because you and I out here, my delicious little babies, they do not class us as mankind. They class us, there we are, as a number. Just like if you're paying a phone bill. Just like you're paying your internet. You're just a number. There's no, I was talking to somebody the other day, I cannot remember who it was now, bless them. And they happened to say to myself, they said, we are just a number. I said, well, I've just been saying that for decades. You say, what it is, where at one time, I mean, if you go back decades enough ago, whatever o'clock, like I can, okay, and anybody who's my age or over, okay, which is still young, by the way, they can remember when customer service, there we are, used to be customer service. And instead of you leaving the company, they would do everything in their power to keep you there as a valued customer. But not these days, my delicious babies. Do you know what I mean? They couldn't give a shout, really a shout. Yes, rightfully stumbled then. Okay? So if more and more, I repeat again, I have to do this every time. I just feel the need. I have to do it every time. Just stop reading the shit. Stop reading it. Because then you're not going to start to feel all flipping poorly and sick. Because this is what it does, This has, I'm sorry to have to use this wording, but it's the truth, my delicious babies. This has a mentally health effect. It does, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? I know, well, at least a few now, my delicious babies, okay? May not always see them, but, I know. And they're that worried sick, there we are, about the health. The slightest headache, the slightest anything. And they're getting so stressed out, there we are, about this. And I just say, please, I beg you in the Lord of mercy, do not get yourself stressed, isn't it? Well, what are you getting stressed for? But of course, you get to your not so friendly quack, okay? They're going to tell you. They're going to do anything, like even a magnifying glass to find something damn well wrong with you. Because that's what they're designed to do. This is why they've been trained. My delicious little babies, that doesn't mean no. This is why they've been trained. To find illnesses that aren't there. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? But of course, if one start worrying, getting themselves all, there we are, wound up. Oh, I've got this, so there must be something wrong, or, you know what I mean? Could be anything. And you get yourself all flipping worked up. I mean, we've all been there over the decades. I mean, I remember when I was really little, my dear dad, bless it, he would tell you, right? I was a bit of an hypochondriac, when I was a really, really young little bairn now. Do you know what I mean? Young lass. The slightest thing. Oh, I've got this wrong. Oh, I got, from a very young age, I was a right flipping, panic head. Do you understand what I mean, Mads, little babies? Okay, but as I got a bit older, I just never used to worry about nothing, and still do not now. You know, I had something a few years ago where I thought always there's something wrong because little Ruse had bumped my bloody my chest. You know what I mean, Mads, little babies. But of course, you know, you do not spare a thought about it. You know, then you say to yourself, okay, there's nothing wrong with myself. I'm just flipping over exaggerating in my noddle. There we are. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with you. So this is what I'm saying. But this is a level of effing brainwashing. No hope service. The same as the not so friendly quacks. You know what I mean? They're not there to help. They're there to get paid. Chink, chink, chink to make one's more poor. There we are, more poorly and sick. It's all damn well common sense. But please, yeah, I know that there's a war going on. Well, so, you know, there is a war going on, they say. You know, without being there, who would know? Anyway, that's, you know, there we are. That's my thoughts. Smarty little babies, nobody likes war, like I said. But when all of that's going on, there we are. There's a lot of other more pressing issues going on. Okay, but they want everybody, there we are, to focus on one thing now then. Okay, so that's not me being a bitch. I'm just done saying it the way it is. So that's the end of my video. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And now I love you so. You're so wonderful, beautiful and delicious, and I'll love you. Okay? So yeah. So what's the conclusion? Please ignore this shit. Comes through your door, tear it up, which is what I've done, and then just go and dispose of it in the bin. If you can put it in an outside bin, if anybody has bins indoors. I personally do not like bins indoors because I find them, there we are, to be very dirty and unhygienic things, okay? So I feel very blessed. I'm on the ground floor. You know, I've cleaned my bins yesterday, and my beautiful dear little neighbours upstairs cleaned their bin as well. And, you know, and I know I'm going to dispose of it outside, and I'm just going to wipe my table, okay, to remove, there we are, any negative energy, and wash my hands. Wash your hands. Yeah, we must always remember that as well. We know herb service, you know, with the old COVID. You know what I mean? My little babies must also really always remember, there we are, everything, and never to forget, because I certainly do not. And I know that there's thousands upon thousands of others, there we are, especially dear uploaders, bless them, not in that way, who too like everybody to still remember, not just to put it to the back of their noddle and to forget all about it. No, because we are still seeing the repercussions, there we are, of all of this from that time back. You see what I mean, Martin, little babies, not to mention the poxy lockdown, okay, the old pandemic, Martin, little babies. There's so much mental health, very sadly, and that is from that time o'clock. Do you see what I mean, Martin, little babies? So we must never, stumbled again, rightfully so, we must never let these forget what they have done. Do you know what I mean? Because what was taking place is murderers. Na 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 na. Yes. Anyway, so I'm not here to depress my little babies. I'm here to make you feel super duper deliciously and wonderfully happy. Okay, and if you can, please get out into nature. And maybe you too will probably come across at some point in your life, you know, what do they call it? A lamppost, you know, with another light attached to it. Martin, little babies, you never know. Anyway, so you just look after now, okay? Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected, okay? I've just repeated that, how I love you, so, okay? So until my next video, thank you once again for so very many views. If anybody manages to view any of my videos, whether they're shorties or the long ones like what I'm doing now, my little babies, thank you for any likes and thank you for the occasional comment, okay? I'm trying. Some days I'm very trying, okay, my little babies. But what is the reality to this, my little babies? There we are. I only mean well. It may not come across that way, but I only mean well, okay? And we must always continue to have a positive mental attitude, there we are, at all times. Mads, little babies. Now then, so I'm just going to go and get rid of this shit, and then I'm going to wash my hands, wash my table, and then I'm going to eat my lunch, Mads, little babies. So very much love. Take care. Love ya. Thank you once again for listening. Goodbye.